I'm Ryan Gill from Gill's Primitive Archery, and this is another one of my Talking Primitive videos, and I'm hoping to teach you a little bit about the real sharpness of stone points and why it's important. And I know I've talked a lot about stone points before, but it's a passion of mine in hunting with it, and I do it. There's a lot of folks out there that like to hunt with stone points, but there's even less people that kill with stone points. And without trying to really toot my own horn or brag about it, I kill deer every year with stone points. This is what I do for a living, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I make stone points and I sell them to other people to be successful. One of the biggest problems that I see and I have with other people making points, and there's a lot of great nappers out there that make beautiful points, but most of them are absolutely dreadfully dull, or they're way too big. So what I want to do today is do a comparison. I've had some other nappers. I've told them, I said, hey, send me a point, one of your best hunting points, whatever you think is going to get the job done, and I want to compare it to the ones that I do. Because if you're serious about this kind of thing as a business, you have to compare to other people's. And I'm not trying to fool anybody or give anybody a bad name. So I'm not mentioning any names from anything that anybody's come from. In fact, 2 out of the 3 people that I contacted about it, they knew right away. I told them what I was going to do, a stone point test, and they were okay with it. They don't actually sell theirs professionally. They do sell points, but it's not a big deal to them if theirs aren't as sharp. The other one came from a large supplier, we'll say, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. I don't want to slander anybody, give them a bad name about it, but there are real important issues when it comes to the sharpness and the size of stone points being used. I make a lot of stone points, but I'm not cheap. If you go on my website and look at my points, I mean, they're $24.98 a piece. They're pretty expensive. Of course, they also come with a replacement plan, because I want people to be successful with them. If you shoot it, and it's a big deal to shoot a deer with a stone point and kill it. If you shoot a deer with a stone point that I made, if you send me a tasteful picture of it, I replace the stone point for free. You keep the original one, but I send you a brand new one because I want to reward you for doing well. And also it looks good for me to have other people that have killed deer with stone points on my page. And I'm probably going to open up a little bit of a testimonial page when people can really talk about how sharp my stone points are. But some people, they'll call me up or they'll ask on different Facebook groups or over YouTube, that kind of thing, how much are my points? And I tell them, and then they get quiet, they kind of go away. They're a little too expensive for them. They'd say, man, that's a lot of money for a single point. It is. But number one, realize I do mine with all antler tools. I'm a little bit of a persnickety napper. I don't use any modern tools. I use antler tools just like the ancients did. But mine also come with the guarantee that I would take them hunting tomorrow and without any question. I never send a point out that I don't think is going to successfully kill a deer. In fact, I won't sell. If you call me up and say, I want one that's 140 grains, this great big point, I'll tell you I won't do it, because I don't have faith that it's going to successfully kill deer time and time again like my smaller points will. And I've got lots of information as to why smaller points penetrate better and kill better. I'm not saying you can't kill one with a bigger point, but reliably and efficiently, the smaller points are the way to go from my experience. Now, these other points I'm going to show you, a lot of them are larger points, but what we're going to do today is we're going to compare the sharpness of stone points that other people make compared to the ones that I make. And like I said, I think and if you want to comment on this, if you have my points, anybody that touches my points, they say, wow, now that's really sharp. I've handed points that I haven't even sharpened yet to people and say, oh, that's sharp, that'll kill a deer. I'm like, I haven't even sharpened it yet. And I'll sharpen it, and it's sharp. Obviously obsidian is sharper than chirp, but even the chirp points are just sharp. And I'm going to show you one of my chirp points today that aren't as sharp as obsidian. But if I rub, and I've sent pictures of this, but if I test them on the back of my hand, and it doesn't take much, they grab and they'll cut, and they'll make me bleed real easy. And so I try to tell this to people all the time. If your points don't cut you, they're not going to cut a deer any better. So, again, people think, well, my points are kind of expensive. you're getting a guarantee that they are super, super, super sharp and they're sized properly, and that's coming from a guy that does it, that goes out and kills deer with it. Honestly, would you rather buy your points from somebody that makes them cheaper and they look pretty, or would you rather buy them from somebody who actually kills deer every year? Is it worth the extra money? I mean, there's people out there that sell points for $8, $10, $12, $15 a piece, but they're not good for hunting. They'll tell you they are. They'll tell you all day long, these are great hunting points. You can use these. You know, they're just like the ones in the book. You know, you gotta remember that these books, or these points that people found, they've got thousands of years of erosion. They've been shot, and not only that, but they may not have even been fully sharpened to hunt with. Every now and then somebody will find a point, but you can't have a piece of stone in the ground for that long and expect it to retain a perfect edge. Especially, you know, points that they're finding in cornfields that actually aren't even real hunting points. They're junk that people found. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to take some of these points I got here behind me, and I got a piece of brain tan deer hide. Unfortunately, if I had just a green piece of deer hide laying around right now, I would use that. But a piece of real brain tan, it's going to be a little bit more flexible, but it's going to give you the same idea of how good sharp points should cut. Now, one thing I am going to disclose, somebody will inevitably say, you got those points and you just dulled them, so they wouldn't cut as well. I give my word, and my word is very important to me. I did not buy anybody's points and then dull them up to make mine look better. I stand behind that anytime. So if you want to take points that somebody's given you and try it, and then get one of mine and try this same thing, you'll see the same exact results. Now, if you got a point that does cut as well as mine, then I guess you're doing pretty all right. But this is a good way to test your points to see if they are sharp enough to hunt with. Can you kill a deer with a dull point? Sure. You can also kill a deer with a field point. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's right to do. And why would you hunt with a dull point if you could have a really sharp point? So let's get on to that and let's test some points. Now, I'm going to, some of these points are signed, so I'm going to hold them in a way that you can't see who made them, because again, I'm not trying to jack up anybody's reputation on anything, or I'm not trying to, you know, slander. I don't want any issues with that. I'm not trying to be a jerk about these people's points, but more so trying to promote how sharp my points truly are. And they are just about unmatched when it comes to sharpness. And this is an obsidian point, so again, I don't want to show it to you all by itself, because again, there's markings on here. Obsidian is considered to be the sharpest material known. And I'll let you look at the edge. This was sold as a hunting point, which is huge. This is an atlatl point. It's not an arrow point, it's an atlatl point. It's probably 160 grains. Can you kill a deer with it? You might be able to, but you're not going to consistently get the penetration. Not only that, but it's dull. I can rub it on me, and it's obsidian. It doesn't cut me. Here's another one. It's a gorgeous point. Gorgeous, big point, but it's big. It's gorgeous. Texas chert. Again, sold as a hunting point. It's a beautiful point, but it's big and it's dull. You might be able to get from some of these other guys, you know, sell them for cheap. Here's another point that came from, this one's not signed, so I'm not that worried about it. It's just big and fat. If you can really see how fat it is. It's thin, but it's fat. And again, this looks like Georgetown chert from Texas. And it's a little bit sharper, but it's not sharp enough that's really going to cut me. This one is one that I make. It's much smaller. It's about an inch wide, give or take, maybe just a tiny more. I don't like really any wider than this. And if you can just see the serrations on it, that's what makes them truly sharp. Now, it does take a lot of practice to get them truly sharp. This is much sharper. If I go to test it on my hand, if I rub it, it's going to cut me. I'm going to show you why. Now, again, I didn't dull anybody's points to try and make mine look better. You can do the same test at home. And I know you're probably not going to be able to see a whole lot, but I'll hold it up to the camera and I'll show you as I can. But we're going to take, I'll adjust this here just a bit. this piece of brain tan. I'm going to stretch it tight. And this is the obsidian point. I'm trying to physically cut it. Okay? That was the obsidian point. I was on it, stretched tight, trying to cut it. Okay, now I won't do the same, this will be I won't do the same spot, I'll do one just above it. It actually ripped it out of my hand because I'm pushing hard enough. And that was the Texas chirp point right above it. It didn't even cut as good as the obsidian. Here's the one from the other commercial supplier. You can buy these professionally. I'll do it below the obsidian point. It's as hard as I can cut. Hard. It almost went all the way through. It took, what, 3-4 swipes on the same piece to get a tiny little hole in there. Now I'm going to show you my point now. It's actually hard for me to hold this because it is sharp. Now, I'm going to give one swipe and then I'm going to show you how sharp it is. If I can even hold on to it. One swipe. I didn't saw on it, you saw it. It's my point. If yours does not cut leather that fast compared to all those other ones just like it, that's the difference between a sharp point and a dull point. One swipe. You want to see it again? Right in half immediately. That is a scary sharp point. Do you want to spend $10 and get a point that cuts like this? Or do you want to spend the money and get the experience and get something that is scary frickin' sharp? It's up to you.